Well, I got so much to talk about this weekend. It wasn't a great week at the track. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like we've been treated to all summer with the stake horses or with, globe trotting, going a big mile once in a while at the Meadowlands or Yonkers. She's back here in the farm now, but just a big week in the sense that there's a lot going on, right? Last night we didn't race anything. I got to sit home, and it was raining too. I was so happy not to have to go race in the rain. I sat home, watched I was flipping back and forth from the ball game to the Meadowlands to watch the Breeders' Crown. And obviously, like everybody in our situation, we watched the 2-year-old final go in 55. And you're like, my horse would have won that. But we didn't get to race in the 2-year-old Breeders' Crown final. The favorites got beat all night. It was an interesting night of racing, to say the least. Obviously, we've quietly said to everybody in our group that we're heading to the Matron. Now, we had to pay a fairly substantial sustaining fee or a supplemental fee to Dover Downs to race in this race, and I'm super excited to see who is going to the Matron next week. Now, historically, it hasn't been a super, super tough race as far as top-end horses go, like good horses regardless. Last year, they only had a 5-horse field, and one was scratched. So this is a real big deal for us. Yes, it would have been nice to race in the Breeders' Crown. We paid to race in the Breeders' Crown, but we didn't. We didn't get to. That's the way the cookie crumbles, and that's the way racing is. But thanks to, as I've said a number of times over the last week, some very, very astute clients, one in particular, we were able to formulate a way around not making the Breeders' Crown final that we could race for a substantial amount of money. That race is $165 added. I'm assuming they're adding our $20,000 to the starting fee, or to the purse, which would put us at somewhere around $190,000, I think, to race for next Thursday. The horse is at Jim King's. He's training well. Everything is going well so far in regards to 3 Point Blue Chip. As I said, we were able to turn a pretty it's quite the roller coaster this year, right? We went from, is he any good? I don't know if he's any good, and he might be okay, to, now he's pretty good, he's really good, to, oh, we didn't make the Breeders' Crown final. And by the way, the Valley Victory goes by money, so probably not going to get in that one either. That was a tough night. That Friday night after we were 4th, just beat for 3rd, was a tough night. I didn't sleep real well that night. But to make our way through Saturday looking for options and to have that work out has been it's been good. Regardless, this colt's had a tremendous year, and I think everybody can see now, and we're very fortunate, he's going to be a top of the food chain type colt next year. There's a colt that trotted in 54 flat last quarter in 28-3 on a decent night, but not a great night, and scoped a little bit of mucus and blood. We have entered him on the Lasix program in Dover. His first start on Lasix will be on Thursday. I just think that he's put it this way, he's well worth what we paid for him. How's that? I guess that's the easiest way to put it, and not everybody that buys an expensive horse can say that, that's for sure. So we've been very fortunate. I've talked a number of times this week, as we've talked about what we're doing in Harrisburg this year, talking about buying expensive horses, talking about the pitfalls and the downside of doing that. The upside, obviously, is that hopefully it's a little bit step forward when you're talking about a strong pedigree, good conformation, good looking horse. You want to believe that that's going to be a top flight horse, but the reality is it isn't always that way. We lucked out this year with 3 Point Blue Chip. So he's heading to the Matron. Now, in talking about Harrisburg, I've also unveiled this week, we are going to have 3 partnerships. We are going to have a $50,000 partnership, which I think everybody that wants to get involved, let me be as clear as I can heading into this. If we don't have a lot of interest in any of the partnerships, then I'm on my own for Harrisburg, and we may not buy much of anything there. This really is, 2020 has been a purchasing year based on interest, right? Interest-driven purchasing. That's what we've done this year, and I think it's worked out well for everybody. I told you guys, the people that were concerned when we started down this path, 1, why it was important to head down this path, and 2, What would happen when we get down there? There was a lot of skeptics that said, oh, I won't get the horses I want. And Anthony, I like the way it was. But deep down, you guys knew why I couldn't continue to do that. I think that goes without saying. That's pretty fair from my standpoint. I don't think I'm being unbiased or being biased in saying that. So when it goes to Harrisburg this year, we are looking to put together the 3 partnerships, 50, 150. I don't think we need to put together 200. I see a lot of horses that are going to be affordable in this sale, and if they're not, I don't want them. I don't think we need to pay a ton of money for horses that are worth less than what we're paying for them. We're still a very value-based, value-driven purchasing group, partnership, stable, community. So, yes, I would like to buy some horses in Harrisburg. I have taken, actually, for the first time in a very long time, I've taken a very good look at what we have. What might fit us? We don't need 3 quarterbacks, right? Although I've preached to you before, I will buy whatever is the most value in the sale. If I think that we're getting, as I said, on the fly if I have to, if I'm prepared and ready to do so, a horse like Captain in the Air, a horse like Horn Player, right? You need to be prepared. You need to be ready to buy those horses when they come up, in any form they come up. Having said that, we do have a number of very talented New Jersey-based horses, whether they be trotters or colts, or they're supposed to be, and I hope they are. So to go there thinking we need to buy another 1, 2, 3 of those may not be the best. I guess it really depends. As I say that out loud, it depends on what we're talking about. How much value are you talking about, perceived or otherwise? So I think as we head into Harrisburg, I have a much smaller list. As I said to you, a much more watered down list for those 2 partnerships in particular, the 50 and the 150. I already have horses assigned that I'm going to look at for those particular partnerships. I have a lot of people saying, what numbers? I'd be happy to give them to you. I might even make a video of them the day before. I don't want to pull my pants down too early and tell everybody what we're interested in. I'll be happy to tell you what I'm interested in, what I like, what I find interesting. There are some horses that are on this list that might surprise you. A couple of pacers actually on this list that might surprise you. But as I say that, we do have a list of horses compiled that I believe will fit either one or both of these partnerships very well. Now we do still have a lot of clients saying, Anthony, who are the 5 you're talking about? Listen, guys, I can tell you who they are. And anybody watching this video should know who 1 or 2 of them are. I did not put 3 Point Blue Chip Sister on this list because I believe she's going to bring too much money. If she doesn't, she will be quickly supplemented onto this list depending on how she looks. But from what I can see on the video, right, she looks pretty good to me. I just don't think we can afford her. So asking me, is she on there? Of course she's on there. Of course Bomb Hugger Sister's on there. But it depends what they look like. It depends what they go for, right? A number of horses are on there. I talk about value. I just finished telling you we don't need a ton of New Jersey paces, New Jersey fillies and colts trotting. But I do have a number of them I find interesting. So let me put it to you this way. First and foremost will always be value. It will supersede everything we do. You can say to me, Anthony, you know what we need? We need an Ontario trotting colt, or we need a Pennsylvania trotting colt, or trotting filly, or a pacer, for heaven's sakes. This is what we need. But I'm not going to go out there and overspend for anything. And if you're going to show me a horse like, and I'll go back to this horse because I will still double down and triple down on this, I believe he was underpriced. You show me Landing Strip for $57,000. You show me Horn Player for $45,000. You even show me Captain of the Air for $27,000. And I'll be very interested. My plan is superseded and always will be by value. And that takes preparation. You need to go down to the sale. I'll be heading down to the sale Saturday morning. The sale doesn't start till Monday. All day Saturday, if I get there in time, Saturday I'll look at horses, but all day Sunday will be dedicated to day 1, day 2, day 3 of Harrisburg. Now, I'm going to get a little sidetrack just for a second. Hold that thought. Number of people are asking me about racehorses. Now, I haven't told anybody. I've been bidding on racehorses the last 3 days on OnGate. I was the underbidder on a horse that I thought looked very interesting. 4-year-old horse, 4-year-old trotter, He had a little bit of money made, and he had some wins, but enough here. He still fit classes at Mohawk, and he showed some speed. He was interesting. Another angle I look at, and a lot of people buying horse off us will also look at this, been in the same barn his whole life, or her whole life. Same trainer, same owner. Maybe the owner is the breeder. These are angles that we try to look for also, right? I didn't get any of those horses. There's still a number of horses on gate. One in particular, I'll tell you right now, I find very interesting. He's a pacer. Depending on what he brings it on gate over the next 2 days, I think the sale ends in 2 days, I would be very interested in that particular horse. You want to ask me who that is? Feel free to. Actually, by the time you ask me, the sale will be over, I believe, so it won't matter. But you can ask me if you want what horse that is. I'm not going to say on the video, but there's a horse I'm looking very closely at on gate. It is a pacer, and I think he sells in 2 days. So this is Saturday afternoon. He might have already been sold by the time we finish talking. Back to the yearlings. As I said, value first, and then our number one plan after that. So the 48 horses that I have right now to look at, I'm going to look at everybody in the sale also that I find interesting. That 48 might turn into 70, it might turn into 30. I don't know. It might turn into 130. But that will all be based on what we do on Saturday evening, afternoon, evening, Sunday, all day Sunday, and then into the sale starting on Monday morning. So that is where we're at with Harrisburg. We do, as I said, have 3 buckets that I'm interested in. The $50,000 partnership. Feel free to, I said buckets today. Feel free to reach out to me. Kelly has the forms going out also. So we have 50, 150, and then an expensive horse that I would price between 120 and 150 to be safe. Realistically, I think of the horses on my list, my very, very short list, I could see us picking up one of those horses for a lot less than that. So that's where we sit with Harrisburg. That's what I plan on doing. Now, when it comes to the other sales, listen, I appreciate all the help. Even Captain in the Air is slowly dwindling down to not very many shares left in him. So thank you very much for that. One, I hope my commentary on the colt shed some light on why we purchased them, what I like about them. And two, obviously you guys seeing the value in what we've done in that particular horse. Cunning Connie, a couple of the Ontario horses still need to be picked up. And this, I guess the biggest reason I want to do this drone video on the Friday before we go to Harrisburg is because I want to show you guys what we've done so far in Ontario and in, why is there traffic? In Ontario and in even a place like Illinois. I'd like to get those horses cleaned up. I kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I've been meaning to reach out to a number of people to try and partner up with me on those 2 horses that have shares left. Jay's ATM and Twin Cedars All-Star. Both of those horses have a lot of shares left. If you have any interest in the Illinois program, which you could, it's a small jurisdictional program right now, but it's good that we keep our foot in the door. And to be quite frank, these are 2 horses, again, that I thought would simply bring more money. The reason we haven't bought more horses in Illinois the last 3 years is because of the sheer cost of the ones we purchased. We tried to purchase. They were too much. So we couldn't buy horses in Illinois the last 2 years. We bought 3 this year, 3 dandies that I like, 3 trotting colts. One of them is sold out, Rosita's Dream. The other 2 have shares left, and I'm actively looking for someone to partner with me on those 2 horses. So there you have it. Ontario, I'm certain Lady All-Star, who was my top pick in the win-back sale, and Cunning Connie and Gandalf the Black will sell out very, very quickly over the next month. But again, I want to bring you those horses and show you them. Show you what we've done. I think what we've done in Lexington, Ohio, and Ontario has been tremendous. It's been very, very good. As I always talk about, always value. When you look at the horses we purchased, the stories that went along behind them, nothing but a dreamer, sold out quickly. You guys saw that. I brought you the video of him. When you look at what I said about Nothing But a Dreamer, what the breeders had told me about the particular horse, what was wrong with his video, it was lame in his yearling video, and then what I showed you the other day, their story, my synopsis, add up 100%. The horse did probably have an abscess in his right hand. He was lame. Sound now. Horse looked great on the track this week. So that horse is sold out. Warwi Yuri, not surprising, after Warwi Roo won in 51 at the Meadowlands last week, he's sold out. That's not a shock. I'm a little surprised. We don't have a ton of people that always gravitate towards pacers. My answer to the pacer people that they're saying, well, Anthony, you haven't had as much luck with pacers. Okay, we haven't had many pacers. You buy 45 pacers and 15 trotters every year, and I guarantee you're going to have luck with pacers. It's just they're such a thin line. Look at it. I keep using this horse as an example. First glance, raced great again the other night. But once you get up into that, he's got 6-7 wins now. 50,000 made. Once you start getting into those classes, it is a shark tank. So you either have a very, very good horse or you have a first glance. There's nothing wrong with that, but at some point, those horses are going to leave. We haven't had a horse better than that right now. First glance has been as good as most horses we've had. Sunshine's Finest was a pretty good 2-year-old, paced and won in 52 or 53, right? No Free Lunch was a good colt for us and got injured, but he's going to be a good horse again. But again, you can only make so much money, and then you get in the deep end of the pool. So we haven't had a ton of horses, but that's just a matter of numbers, right? Again, we haven't bought any 6-figure pacers. We haven't bought any super duper pacers, and they just didn't turn out. Just bought okay horses. Most of them turned out okay. So when it goes to the pacers, it isn't that we haven't had bad luck with pacers. We haven't had any pacers. What's going on here? Oh, an accident. So that's where we're at with the pacers. I think that Gandalf the Black, again, value-based horse, that Ridgeling stuff, fixed. It's a gelding now. Horse is gated and hobbles and looks great. He's doing exactly what we want him to do. We have a number of pacers that were sent to us privately. Another one coming this week in All Bets Off Philly. But we are going to focus on the horses that still have shares left. I was surprised there's not a ton left. With a number of shares left. Lady All-Star, you guys are going to clean those shares up, right? My top pick from Winback. I love this filly. Thought she was actually going to bring a lot more. And if you listen to the story about what happened at the sale, she would have brought a lot more, actually. Maybe not a lot more, but definitely a little more. So I like Lady All-Star. Cunning Connie, I thought was I don't want to call her a diamond in the rough in Harrisburg, or Lexington. But when you looked at last day and what the prices were going for, and some of the pedigrees that were associated with those prices, it was insane. To get Connie for $21,000, I believe we paid for, maybe a little bit more. I thought was again, I'm going to refrain from steals and bargains and whatnot. Those words will be reserved for next year when they race. When you look back at the horses we bought, right? Slim Jimmy, steal, right? Purple Aura, steal. I'm just using the Ohio ones because they're in my head. Grace Free, she was a steal, wasn't she? So when it goes to value, we'll use words like value and fair market and appearances, and appeared to be a good buy right now. But those words like steal and stuff like that will be reserved for next year in July. So, but when you look at Cunning Connie, again, appeared to have an abundance of value. How's that? That's a fair way of putting it, I think. Gandalf the Black, again, very similar both in pedigree and stature to a horse that I was the underbidder on at $45,000. So even as we left the sale, I was very happy to get ours for $17 and leave the other one at $45. I thought that was the better of the two paths at that point for sure. As I said, Cunning Connie and Lady All-Star are two of the only ones that have a bulk of shares left. Gandalf doesn't have a ton of shares left, but he has some. And again, once you see him on video, I think you'll scoop all the rest of those three horses. Those shares will be scooped up. That leaves a few shares of Sir Strong. Again, Muscle Hill colt, day one Lexington, really, really good looking colt. Stud fee for Muscle Hill's $30,000. We bought this guy for $25,000. You tell me what took place. Without using any words, you tell me. And then we look at the two Illinois horses. I would appreciate some assistance from somebody out there. If you guys want to partner with me on the Illinois horses, it is a decent program. There is decent money out there. You have to have a good horse, like most jurisdictions. And the three trotters we have going right now in Twin Cedars All-Star, GJ's ATM, and Rosita's Dream all seem very, very nice. And then Ohio, very few shares left of any in Ohio. How there's still shares of Magical Tom, I don't know. I keep threatening, and I will, once I get everything squared away, They're going to disappear, I'm telling you. I saw him on the track the other day. It looks great. And then the Pacer, I get it. Again, we can get down that Pacer path if you would like. But Real Fear is a real nice horse. We paid for him. And I can't wait to show him off to you guys. But again, for Ohio clients out there, come on. Real Fear. Fear the Dragon Colt. Again, I just thought buying a Down by the Seaside was a fool's errand for the amount of money they were going for. I saw some of the horses that were bringing outrageous amounts of money, and no thank you. It's not for me. But when I saw this horse at 14, well, that's a different story. Yes, you have to win all the stake races, you are going to have to beat some real good Down by the Seasides. But at 14, if you don't win all the races, still racing the Buckeye, the Fairs, overnights, still have some fun with Real Fear, and that's the plan heading forward right now. So for our clients out there in Ohio, I think you really dropped the ball, missing the... I understand I've trained everybody to become trotter people. I get it. This is my problem that I made. I understand it. But at the same time, nice colt, well worth the money, I believe. And I would appreciate some assistance on Real Fear. So that is what's going on at Harrisburg. That's what's going on with... We led with our boy, 3 Point Blue Chip. I can't be any more proud of him, what he's been able to accomplish, what he's done, and how he's done it. Super impressed with him. And then when you look back, a lot of people are saying, but what about the horses you're not keeping and keeping, what's it? I'll do this one more time really quick. The difference between a horse you want to keep and a horse that might have to go. So a top-of-the-line horse that we're going to sell is a horse like Tipsy and Dixie. It's made $100,000, taking a good mark, really nice mare, but she's not globetrotting, right? She's not Spirit of Dio. These horses are horses that I believe can excel to the next level in condition racing. And I love Tipsy and Dixie, but she is not globetrotting. Never will be, never has been. And that's the reality of the situation. So you need to be in a position where a horse like Walk on the Moon was very similar to Tipsy and Dixie, but when I looked at Walk on the Moon the other day, I'm like, not only is he good, and not only is he fast, but he's still underdeveloped. He's still immature. That goes a long way also. I might be wrong about Globe. Maybe my first inclination was right to sell him, but I see more than enough there to keep Walk on the Moon, right? When I see Tipsy, I still see a filly that's going to struggle in the next 2 months in the place she's at. Somebody might say, well, somebody said on our Facebook feed, well, why can't you put them in the classes that other people will? Because I don't want to. That's why. Because I don't want a horse that can pick away fourths and fifths and maybe win the odd race. We had people that were partners on horses that we sold recently or over the last few months. Those horses may win the odd race, but they're not doing that well, right? They're not crushing it. And that's the thing, is that we sold them at top dollar, and they're racing against inferior horses. And I don't want to get into the storylines of what horses they were or where they were, but there has been very few horses that we've sold over the last 2 years where I've looked and said, I might have made a boo-boo there. You guys know one of them, Harness AM, right? Yeah, they claimed her. Yeah, I was trying to steal with her. We got caught. She's done very, very well all year. Beat a number of her horses I never thought she would. Yes, I can openly admit that maybe we undersold Harness AM. That happens. I'm only human. And that will happen again in the future. And it may happen with one of the horses on this list that we're taking to Harrisburg. First glance might go out winning 49. I just don't see it. Right? And that's where it's at. I can only make the best decisions I can for everybody. So, going back to it, Walk on the Moon is staying because he just showed me that much little more. And I love Tipsy and Dixie. I hope she races very well for the New Connections. I am not a guy that wants to sell the horses and just see them drop off the face of the earth as soon as we sell them. That's not good. It's not good for business, and I'm not like that. I just think for the money that we will get for Tipsy, and we will get paid very well for Tipsy and Dixie, the money we will get for her, I think, outweighs keeping her. I think that's the best way to put it. So the slight difference between who we keep and who we don't, Tipsy and Dixie is a horse we sell at the end of a 3-year-old year. Globetrotting is the type we keep. And you can read into it however you want, but you should know by now exactly what I'm trying to say. It's fair ball. So in keeping with that, the horses racing this week, Globetrotting actually tied up yesterday. Frustrating, but she did. It's not the first time she's done it, and I'm not shocked. When you go out and you jog on a gloomy, wet, damp day, mares, fillies will once in a while tie up. She did. We were very careful with Eglare AM today because she's been a known offender for tying up. She did cough once, but I think just with the weather and everything going on, I wouldn't be too worried about it. We will draw her blood Monday, maybe even scope her Monday morning to make sure that she's okay to race. But from where I stand right now, we had to be super, super proactive when it came to Eglare AM, especially after watching Globetrotting tie up yesterday. Now, what does that mean? Until we see how bad she tied up, and when a horse ties up, it could mean they tied up, their AST level could be anywhere between 2,000 and 60,000. 60,000, you're looking at 2 months, maybe a month. 2,000, you're looking at a week or two. I would say it's probably around, knowing Globetrotting, knowing her history, I'm going to say she probably tied up somewhere around 10,000, which would mean a couple of weeks. If we work aggressively to clean her up, a couple of weeks. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. We will take that blood for an official reading on Monday, but why is everyone in the world in this parking lot? Okay. This says it's reserved for Sleep Factory. No, this one's reserved for Scotiabank. Scotiabank is closed, so I'm going to take that reservation. Just give me 1 second here. I'd rather not hit a vehicle, if you don't mind. Used to driving the car, not the truck. Here we go. We're good now. We're good now. Stop. Perfect. So Globetrotting, I'm sure she'll be fine first of the week. It's just a matter of getting that official result. This is the number you're working with. Okay, so let me break it down to you this way. When a horse ties up stiff the way she did, you can't move them for at least a couple of days. You have to work to get, there's 2 levels. The CK, creatine level, I believe, goes up. And that would be like, when you get that tweak in your back, you're like, oh my God, that hurt. And then after a couple hours or maybe a day, it just turns to cement in your back. You're like, oh, back sore. That would be, after watching horses do it for so long, that's akin to what you're seeing, is that CK jumps up, and that's that sharp pain in your back. And that settles out to an actual number, right? And would with humans also. So she's got that sharp back pain. She comes in, she's a little sore, she's really stiff over her back, she's tied up. So the first thing you want to do is get them to pee, right? Make sure that everything is working properly. Run some fluids into them, give them some anti-inflammatories. Maybe something like Robaxacet. We have that for horses called Robaxin. Guafenicin will help also. So we've started her and gave her the proper medication when she first tied up. Now Monday, what we'll do next is get that blood type down, get that blood work back. I would suspect what you're going to see is that CK still be up around 3,000, where it would have been much higher yesterday and today. So I would suspect to see a CK around 3,000 on Monday, an AST probably around 9 or 10 or 11. It might be a little higher, it might be less. We can work with those numbers. When that CK gets down below 1,000, then we can start jogging her again. If you try and jog them when the CK is up a little high, you'll get compounding results in a lot of cases. This is what took place last year with Jazzy Judy when she tied up really bad after Harrington, the first stake races, and it was a real chore and a real battle to get her ready to go in time for Dover. So it was a long time. We did. She ended up winning in Dover, so they'll bounce back with zero issues after that. And you might say, well, what causes them to tie up? Please, for the love of God, ask a trainer that, and they'll either lie to you or cry in front of you, because there is no way. It could be a million reasons why a horse ties up. Could be the feed, could be the weather, could be they're coming into season and horsing. There could be so many reasons. Diet, and it just drives you crazy. You don't even want to talk about it. Best you can do is keep them on a regular routine. Jog them at the same time, keep them on the same food, these types of things. So now Globetrotting is tied up. We are going to get her levels down. Once that CK comes down below 1,000 and once her AST starts coming down, you can begin to train her. But you can't until that comes down. So we won't be able to do much with her until probably Wednesday of next week. First training trip would likely be a week later. That would be perfect situation. Racing speeds will be at least a week after that. And again, I'm guessing everything will change or not change when we see those numbers. Either what I'm telling you will be affirmed, or it could be worse or better. We'll know on probably Monday, but it'll be 2-3 weeks regardless. Yes has been racing good. Somebody said, why aren't you going there Sunday? Because for me to go there and race in race 9 means I'm going over there for the entire day. I can either be truly exhausted when I get home or stay overnight and miss a day with the babies the next day in the morning unless I leave incredibly early. So yes, through the outside of some killers, it's a tough bunch. So I just opted not to go on Sunday. And listen, these horses are in such good shape right now, and Lauren and Jason have done such a great job, and Tim, as people get to know them, I don't need to go over there that much. Again, I've always told you guys I will always do what's best for the stable. That's my job. I'm committed to it, and I always will be committed to it. But if it's not in your best interest for Anthony to be there, right, then I won't need to be there. And if it's Anthony, Ronnie Wren, Aaron Merriman, Hunter, or Ryan Stahl, or any of the guys in Pennsylvania, if they're going to get the job done, let them get the job done for a number of reasons. I am going over Tuesday. It's a little different. I don't want when you're a driver and you jump up, you do the best you can, but when the race is over, you hang the lines up and walk away. We got a number of these horses going to Harrisburg. No. I want to make sure that everything goes right heading into Harrisburg. I might screw up, but at least going in behind the gate, I know there's a very big picture at play here, and I don't want anything missed. That is why I'm going there Tuesday and Wednesday, because there's a lot on the line. Northern Blizzard's qualifier. A lot on the line. May not seem like a lot, but there is a lot on the line, always. So, Globetrotting, we'll get her back on the... And I would suspect that maybe this has been going on for a few weeks with Globetrotting also, right? We've seen these poor race lines. Maybe there's been something going on with her for weeks. So nip it in the bud, get her under control. We'll get her back going. There's nothing physically wrong other than she tied up a little bit. Yes, as I said, has been racing tremendous. This is the best form of Yes I've ever seen. I think we're going to have a great year with this horse. Really love this horse. You don't like him, just leave the stable, because if you don't like Yes, you don't like horses. How's that? He is every horse you ever wanted to have. If they have a piece of Yes in them, you'll be much better off than you did before. He tries, he works, he's just a good horse. Very good horse. High Gear, No Fear. Again, I think we got him under control. Now, the veterinarian, although he did have a few specks of blood, they did treat the bacteria. He has asked that we put him on Lasix. Okay, not going to fight with the vet. If you believe he should be on Lasix, then guess what? I'm on board. So High Gear, No Fear will be starting on the Lasix program also next week. They're going to train him hard on Tuesday, see how he comes out of it, check that trach, make sure the bacteria levels are under control, and then put him in to go. So that's the plan with High Gear, No Fear. You may see me in Northfield. Oh, no, you won't. I'm in Harrisburg. 4-hour drive on a Sunday. Can't do it. What are the chances Ronnie Wren's going to put him on the run twice? So we'll see what goes on with High Gear, No Fear next week. Stonebridge Simba didn't look good the other day, but hard track coming off a quarter crack. Not that shocking. I'll defer my feelings towards Stonebridge Simba right now until I see him race this week coming up. White Tiger was poor the other day. A little sick, a little bit of blood. Looked like crap, to be honest. He felt like crap to me behind the gate. So we've run a lot of fluids through him all week. Again, I guess we'll draw his blood on Monday, too, to see what's up with him. But I suspect he'll be a much better horse. But he did draw the 10-hole, and he is in very, very tough. So I guess I'll just drive him when he can't win and just put James on him when he can. Is that fair? You know what? I've been your partner, and Amy and I have been your partner on White Tiger for a very, very long time, and I just want to see the horse race good. So, drew the outside, coming off a bad race. Let's look for some money. Hopefully we can grab a bone and move forward with our boy into the fall. At Glare AM, again, we did not train her this week. She's not trained in between starts because it rained for 2 days. This filly is a known offender for tying up, and I didn't want to give her an opportunity to do so. We jogged her today. The hobbles broke last week. I guess there's no point talking about whether they broke after she made a break or before. There'd be no reason for her to make a break. She's coming off 3 wins in a row. Everything was the same. James had said to me, yeah, I believe obviously the filly felt fine. Felt a little flat, but the weather was horrible that night too. So we again have treated her up the same way. I will say she coughed once or twice today. That's not unlike her. She's not unknown to coughing, but gonna draw her blood on Monday and maybe even scope her Monday morning before she races. Don't want to do anything to there's always, like, this filly's got a lot of money to make before she ever runs into any horses that can beat her fair and square. She's a very fast, very powerful filly. So if she is a little under the weather on Monday, she won't race Monday night. You guys know that. And then a number of horses coming back in right now. Jason, tell me about a number of 2-year-olds coming back in that look fantastic, coming back from Winterwood. Although Granite Hill wasn't a great horse at 2, we were hoping he'd fill up and be a big, strong colt. He looks like a tank, Jason says. Now, a number of horses have come back in from Pennsylvania. Rose Above It looks good. He's training now. Prairie Fire is training in Ohio also. And then on this side of the border, I watched Will to Win Hanover get off the truck today coming back from the field. She is enormous also. Needs to be shod, needs a bath, needs brushed up. We'll give her the spa treatment coming up on Monday. But for now, she just looks like $1 million. So that's what's going on, you guys. I'm super pumped about the matron this week. James and Amy are going to go down to Delaware Thursday morning when they come back. Saturday, I'll be heading to Harrisburg. But in between on Friday, we're going to try and have a drone for you this Friday. I'm going to try and do something on the Ohio side on Wednesday, but Curtis has not clarified it, has not got back to me yet. Steve, our contact at Northfield Park in the video department, has not messaged me back yet. I'll reach out to him again. And then obviously it's going to be timing, right? I have to get to the Meadows. It's a 2-hour drive. Just have to make sure I leave in time. So in a perfect world, I'd wake up early. The sun would be shining. It's a decent day in Ohio. We go out, we video the babies for you. Now, it won't be live, but we will be able to chop them up and send them out quickly. And then 2 days later, on Friday, we will have them live. We'll have the drone live at the training center for the first time for this season of babies for you guys to look at. How that looks like, how it shakes out, I'll be working on that today. We do have some horses that are sick in the barn right now, so hopefully they get over that virus in time to continue on and catch up, but that will be up to them and up to Mother Nature throughout next week. So the timeline coming up this week is racing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, a big day for us is 3 Point Blue Chip will race in the Matron Stakes in Dover, Delaware. Friday, we have the drone for you guys live. We'll have the videos from Ohio up to you at that point, I would imagine. And then on Saturday, off to Harrisburg. Big thing. So reach out. Again, we have these forms out there, you guys. Everything I do, Steve, everything I do moving forward in regards to Harrisburg will be completely based on you. What for the people that have messaged me to say I'm not in for Harrisburg, I'm out. Thank you very much. That still goes a long way to me knowing what we're doing in Harrisburg. So the plan as of right now is partnership for $50,000, partnership for $150,000, and that ever elusive high-end horse, premium horse, we would price between $120 and $150. These are all in US dollars too. Again, those are the 3 partnerships we're looking for. Happy to share any insight with you on a one-on-one basis. Feel free to reach out. I will talk to you all very, very soon.